Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman. And it's a pleasure to be here as I stretch. Um, my challenge lately has been to get up early in the morning. And for me, it's 10 o'clock here, and that's because of my sleep patterns. Been a challenge. So I've missed you all, and I decided that over the holidays I would not go live, and I just enjoy the holidays. So Happy New Year to each of you. Uh, and for those of you who have been wondering, I'm still here. Today's talk is about this year, really. It's about um, peace, about 2023 and peace. And the reason it is because as I looked into this year and could see the energies that were going to be presented to us all as opportunities to shift and change how we think, how we react, I found that what has been missing over the past uh, couple of years, or hard to find, is a sense of peace. We've been living in a world of what we would call chaos and turmoil. And that doesn't matter what causes the chaos or the turmoil. The fact that it exists is the problem. It's much like going into a room where everyone is just fighting and arguing with each other. And you don't want to be there, but somehow you can't feel your way out of it, that you're drawn into it, and you find yourself taking sides, and you find yourself thinking things that are actually depleting you of your energy. And so, for many of you who might have felt that this past year and the past couple of years, know that this is not just your imagination. This is what negative energy does to human beings. And the reality for now, for 2023, is let's get the hell out of there. Let's get out of that position within us that is constantly tossing us around and creating discouragement, creating fear, creating anger, creating defensiveness. All of those attributes are not our best human selves. And so for all of us, this is what today's talk about is about sharing peace. And that was my message. As I have three purposes that I was given when I came back from my death, and they were the ones that I experienced to share with the world, and that was peace, light, and love. And peace was first because that was the first thing I experienced. Unknowingly, I've not been practicing as much peace as I have light and love. And I came to understand that over this past couple of weeks that there was a reason for that. Because without light and love, how can we establish peace? If we don't fully understand how we can manifest light from within our hearts and love from within our hearts and feel it and own it, how can we send it out to the world in order to create peace? So this was an amazing uh, sort of revelation for me. I can't say that I didn't have this before, but I didn't understand it as a need for all of humanity, as a need. for planet Earth. And that's what we're learning right now, as everything seems to be in a state of chaos. I said seems to be. Physically, it is. However, the reality of it, it is just the effect of us not being peaceful within ourselves. And this may sound preposterous to most people. And I'm not here to be a scientist. I'm not here to be, a guru. I'm here to look at what I'm experiencing and put it into words so that other people may take a look within themselves. So the gift is of this year is for each of you to dive deeply within to yourself and ask yourself, why are you outwardly behaving the way that you are? And then find out why you are feeling internally the way you are. And it can be done by simple listing, writing it on a piece of paper and then forgetting about it and coming back later. And reading it. But if we record, and this is what I've learned in the past couple of years with COVID, is if I record what's going on, what my thoughts are, what my disruptions are, et cetera, both positive and negative, I can reread those at another time and look and see a pattern. And what it is there's a pattern of energy that is not only within us that's affecting us, but a pattern of energy that we're being entrained with. And I'm going to use that word. We're being entrained with. And it's subconsciously and unconsciously. And it's done every day through the media and through I'll just call it calamity. The calamity that the world has chosen to release and become involved in. All of us are seeing that what's happening around us is extremely negative. And yet we're living in a time where everything could be so positive if people would let go of the I, me, mine, the greed, the power, the struggle for power, the struggle for who's going to make the most money, who's going to be the first one to send a satellite or a rocket ship to some unknown place. All of that is an amazing part of our evolution. Yet there's many worlds beyond ours that are watching this and questioning whether we are ready to join with them in a larger community. Now, I say that and people will look at me and say, well, you're getting a little woo-woo. Well, it's not. It's not. We are part of a galaxy. And in that galaxy, there are many things that we're just beginning to see at a new level. The problem is the people who are seeing it are patting themselves on the back for their achievements and their power of overcoming the distance of the nearest planets and stars. And it's a wonderful achievement. But what it's doing is, just like our ancestors did when they went from India or to Australia, or they went from Africa to South America, they worked in relationship and they created amazing facilities around the world, which are now buried and being uncovered. These were civilizations that we don't even know exactly how they could actually build those monuments. Because even with all our technology today, we cannot cut curves in stones that weigh 30 tons. And why would we when it's so much easier to do something else? So when we look at that architecture of the ancient ancestors, not just our tribal ancestors, but before them, and we look at what they accomplished, we realize that they had a greater wisdom and ability to manifest objects that were simply beyond who and what we are now. It doesn't mean I want to live in those structures at this point in time, but the energy and the wisdom and technology that they had was still greater than ours at this time to do that specific work. So what we're looking at is that somewhere, somehow, all of this comes together. In 2023, I think it's this melting pot where all of this is going to come together. And each of us need to dive deeply into ourselves and look at what we call a calendar year and let go of some of this structure that we've created in order to define and to chart our progress. What if we just progress without any time limits? What if we progress without any fear of ridicule? What if we progress with love in our hearts, with the intention of making life for all life on earth better, not just a few, not just the ones who can have the private planes, not just the ones who can have the $1 million yachts. There's every one of us, and there is all of nature. And my message for me this year was we need more peace. And that was the thing that I'm to work on this year is peace. I don't know what that means, but I do know that when I'm not at peace, I'm beginning to notice it quicker. It doesn't matter what takes us out of the peace that we normally should be in, but it's becoming aware of when that takes place and catch it in that moment and then say, okay, I need to pause, I need to take a breathe, I need to walk away, whatever is needed. I need a drink of water, whatever is needed to break that mental disturbance. And that's what I'm going to call it, a mental disturbance. It's a disturbance of the brain, which then affects the whole neurological system. And then we wonder why we get sick and why we're unhealthy. Because we're running both fear and anger through our systems continually. And we have a world of newsmakers and teachers and leaders who are continually generating that energy at a level that is unprecedented in the history of humanity. And the problem is they can get it to you so many different ways. Normally, we wouldn't know what was happening so instantly. And yet, if you go looking for information that is needed for your protection in an area, you can't find it. So what's happening is we're not being given the information we need to leave, to how do I say it? I don't want to use protect, but to feel safe. We're not given as much of that as we are given the information that creates fear, anger, and frustration. So it's a simple ploy. It's just the same as when everybody raided each other's villages. Even if they didn't cause any damage, they created a great state of fear. And that would, over time, would create that group to succumb to that more, what appeared to be, note the word appeared to be, more powerful presence. What I want everybody to think about this year is you are the most powerful presence on this planet. You, not just as a collective, but you as an individual. And then in that individuality, when you stand up and you align with what is positive for all living presence on the planet, and you do it in a peaceful manner, you got two wins. That's a win-win situation. I can't tell you how to do that. I don't know where you live. I don't know what you're going through in any moment of the day, but you do know that. And I want you to become aware of those things that you think, well, that's no big deal. And realize that 45 of those no big deals actually challenge you into a greater big deal. And the next thing you know is that you're maybe standing in line at a grocery store, and somebody does something and you lose your temper. It isn't so much about what happened in that moment that did it. That was the trigger of all this other stuff that you're carrying around with you. So the key here today is, in order for us to find peace and work for peace and spread peace in 2023, is to dive deeper into ourselves. I liken it to the universe. When we look at the Milky Way, we look at this big, we can't even imagine how many things are happening simultaneously in this same moment, our one single moment. And how does it stay together? It stays together because there's enough peace in that to hold the energy that's creating all of the what we look at as disturbances in balance. So there's a balance. And what I see right now is we're out of balance. And the thing that we're out of balance is because of a lack of peace within ourselves. I know you all feel this. I know you all understand this. And I just put this out there for all of us to think, how can I act and react more peacefully? How can I learn to recognize when I'm not at peace? What is that disturbance caused by? Maybe I can't fix it. That's okay. But I can learn to understand why it's happening. And when I can do that, what I'm doing then is aligning my mind with my heart. And I'm saying, oh, the mind is the reactor. The heart is what senses it. The mind is only telling the rest of the body to either prepare for a war or to have a nice nap. It's protecting us. The mind, in so many ways, is our protector. Well, what's happened is it's become the weapon. It's now been turned into a weapon that can be used against other people. If you don't follow me on that, that's okay. But when we look at our mind, not as our brain as a structure, but the mind, that all of the energies within us generate thought, they generate the words we speak. We are taught from childhood what is okay to say, what is not okay to say. We've been guided our whole life to follow patterns. And if you follow this pattern, we have it already figured out that this will happen. And if we follow that pattern, that will happen. If we don't have any self-respect, we're going to follow some of the patterns that are going to be damaging. If we have self-respect, we're going to, what is that all about? It's about being at peace within yourself. Many of us did not have healthy childhoods. I'm going to take a little pause there because nobody wants to remember those. And I don't blame you. But the key is, it's not about remembering them, but letting them go. Letting them go. As planet Earth we spiral forward in our galaxy, let it be jettisoned and left behind. That's part of obtaining peace within ourselves, is those rocks in the road, those trees across our path, those, whatever it is. Know that it's not something you have to spend your life on fixing. It's about moving around it, moving through it, or just getting rid of it. And you can do this. You can do this. It's going to take time, and it's going to take diligence on your part to want to be the true self that you are. And as we become that true self, what automatically happens is things start to fall into place. It's like the gears of a machine. If one thing is out, all of a sudden something happens. But when you get those gears all in tune with each other, aligned with each other, everything starts to flow, slowly at first, but then can be increased in speed when needed, and can be slowed down when needed. Who's in control? You are. You are taking back your own sovereignty. You are standing in your own truth. You are beginning to know who you are, what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. And you may say, why did I choose this? I don't even like doing this. Or, whatever comes up, look at it, investigate it, and know that you have the ability to stop the confusion, which is the vulnerability that we have to the outside stimuli. And it's been proven years. How many wars have we been through? How many Holocausts have we been through? I mean, this isn't day one. This is lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And it's time now for us to look inside and look at the future generations and say, I can't pass this on to them. What can I do to eliminate this? What can I say to them to make them feel more solid within a solidarity within themselves, the solidarity that perhaps we didn't feel? And maybe we'll never fully feel it before we leave. But if we understand it, we can teach it. If we understand it, we can pass it on. And this is what's critical right now in 2023. It's a pivot point. And that's what I look at it as. This is a pivot point where we take into consideration not our future, but the future of planet Earth, the future of humanity, the future of the animals, the future of everything. We're, we're at that point. Pause. Pause and know that your choice or choices in 2023 are not just about you. They're about the future of everyone. I have a couple of things I want to read to you. I'll be overly long today. It's just nice to be with you all. And I didn't have many show notes this morning. I had some, I sort of just slid them aside. I think I covered what I wanted to say. So bless you all, Victoria, Lily, and those who caught up with me. What was it? Oh, these are my writings for 2 weeks for the Global Heart Team, I think. Yeah, Global Heart Team. And I will share those with you because that's, again, my theme was peace. So more peace, 2023, more peace, is as follows. Looking forward into the time frame we call a year, the usual dense fog lifts as light warms the cold air, created by the fear and suffering of humanity. Create more peace is my message from the inner voice, reminding me of the peace, light, and love I experienced and became 31 years ago. Sharing that peace is just as easy to gift it to others as the light and love you now share with all living presence you meet or hear of. Peace is the key that ignites the heart, which dissipates the fog and melts the frozen waters to allow it to flow with ease and grace. The light and love to flow with ease and grace throughout all of Mother Earth. So that was in January 2nd. That was day 2 of this year. That message came through to me to share with others. The one I wrote yesterday that came to me for Global Heart Team, and I spoke on my kirtan, on the kirtan program I am on every evening, is truth within our personal heart. As we deepen our awareness within our personal heart, truth arises and is seen more clearly. There's no physical form, yet we feel it as an energy of honesty and trustability, inviting us to focus with more compassion, encouraging our emotional experiences with each other to be openly enhanced, and all thoughts of separation dissolved. Truth is never an object that changes, for it is an eternal presence within us as a radiant energy of love, light, and peace. Our personal heart truth is needed now more than ever. And I'm going to paste that here in the chat just so that everybody, they read the chat, will have that. And it's a message from my heart to each of yours to remind you that our responsibility, both individually and collectively, is to find ways to share peace with each other in the future. And let go of he said, she said, I want, they want. And I bless all my friends who are still caught in that melee, if you will. And take it with a grain of salt. If there's something you can do about it without committing your whole energetic field to it, your whole way of life to it, that's not the purpose of living. It's not about taking sides. It's not about going to war. It's not about fighting for anything. Life should be filled with ease and grace. Find ways through peace to receive and to give more ease and grace, not just to you, not just to your family, but let's send it to the future generations. You never know when you might be back. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. Bless you all. Happy New Year. Good to be back, and I'm going to try to get up early every Friday morning and be here on time. And we'll see how well that goes. Anyway, have a wonderful week. Blessings. And if it's snowing where you are, happy snow. Enjoy it. For those of you who don't like it, don't know. But this is sort of our first snowstorm here on the southwest coast of Maine that's actually sticking to the ground. So let's go play. Love you all. Many blessings.